All right, all right. We're here this morning with a fellow honey badger coming to us from Ohio, Joel Hollo. And since he's a fellow honey badger, we're going to play the honey badger introduction.
This is Honey Badger Nation,
where real estate agents from around the globe come together
to grow, collaborate,
and expand their business.
Where we take our individual fires
and put them together and make one big fire.
This is the Honey Badger Nation.
All right, all right. Now we got, so this is collaboration at its finest because Joel doesn't know me and I don't know a whole lot about Joel, but we are fellow honey badgers and we know what that means, right, Joel?
That's right. What an intro, by the way. I'm just seeing all those faces and some amazing people on there.
Yeah, they really are. I know you started. Well, you're going to tell your story about how you got into the business, and I think Al Stasek was involved, and Al's one of my business partners too, and Jay Kinder and Michael Reese, and those guys are just phenomenal partners to have. So everybody has an interesting story. At least I think it's interesting. How you got into real estate because they're all different. I've told my story. Let's hear. How did you get involved in real estate? Why did you pick real estate as a career?
Well, I'm sure you've heard this quite a bit. Like 50% of people probably say by default, I got into real estate. And truthfully, it's exactly what happened to me. So let's see, rewind back to when I got out of college in 2002. I was designing houses. I was doing architecture work, and I absolutely loved it. I grew up with a father who was in construction, who owned a construction company, and I absolutely loved every bit of not the manual labor. I don't mind a good manual labor.
Yeah, right.
That wasn't for me. It was dealing with the people. And truthfully, what I now understand is that I would sit down with a couple or a family or whoever that was looking to build their home. They would tell me their dreams, their wants, their needs, and I would put it on paper, and it would, and I would make it work. And it was awesome. It was amazing. It was almost as satisfying as when you hand the clients the keys to their new house.
Yeah.
And I thought that was great. I was making good money, drawing about 250 houses a year by myself. But there was a glass ceiling there. I could only make so much money, and I didn't get that. I just figured, hey, I'm making a great living. I'm working my ass off. I'm coming in early. I'm working late, but I was making the same amount of money. And then 2008 happened, where I went from drawing in 1 year, less than 1 year, I went from drawing 250 houses a year to 33 houses. And so my income went down about 75 to 80%. And my dad, who's one of my best friends, my mentor, my hero, I called him. I'm like, Dad, I got a family to support. I don't know what to do. And he goes, well, first of all, swallow your pride. You need to figure this out, whether you have to go work for somebody or not. You need to figure this out. And he goes, what, you got your real estate. You did your real estate classes 6 years ago. Did you ever get your license? And I said, no. So I called the state of Ohio and I go, how long do these classes last for? And they go 10 years.
Wow. So
I go and I take the test, get my license, and by strategy, I had such a good relationship with all these builders that I drew for. They said, come sit in our model houses. We could do like a design build type situation where you sit there, you sell it, you make money, you design it, you make money, and it's a great opportunity. Ed, nobody was building houses, nobody was buying houses, nobody was selling houses.
It's interesting because in New Jersey here, that's exactly what happened when 2008 hit. A lot of our markets didn't drop off dramatically right away, but the housing, the new construction stopped dead in its tracks. Yep. Like it just completely stopped for the most part. And we're in an area where there was quite a bit of new construction at the time too. Yeah. And, so it's interesting to hear from different parts of the country how things affected, your markets.
Yeah, well, and then I did that for 5 years. I've been licensed since '08, so the first 5 years of my career, that's what I did. And talk about spinning your wheels and getting burnt out and pissed off and overwhelmed. It was a rough ride. I mean, on paper, I looked great. On paper, everybody in my I was with Remax at the time. Everybody in my Remax office wanted to be Joel because Joel had 200 signs in the area out on vacant land in front of model homes, in front of all this stuff. I had all these ghost listings. I had the highest average sales price in my brokerage, and it was one of the biggest Remaxes in the area. So Cleveland probably at that time, they were right around 150,000 average sales price. Well, my average sales price was 588,000 because of the construction. But I wasn't selling anything. So it's great on paper that I look great and everybody wanted to be me, but it was not great at all. It was a grind. It was hard.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, and so
and sitting in a new construction is a completely different animal.
I missed so much. Here, I'm a sports guy. I missed so many Ohio State Buckeye games. I missed so many Cleveland Browns games. I missed all the things that I actually enjoyed because I had to sit in a model that nobody was walking through. And my aha moment, I had two aha moments. The first one was my very last new construction sale was a model home that I was sitting at, for years. It had been 3 years old. And we came to terms. Somebody was willing to pay full price for this house. And all the builder had to do was complete a little bit of mulch and landscaping and shrubbery, which would have cost $1,500 on a $600,000 model. And he was fighting over $1,500 on shrubs.
Yeah,
and so finally, there's a lot of people on here that are probably laughing, going, "Oh yeah, we've been there, done that." Because we all know how builders can be. Love builders now. Now they realize that they need the real estate agents, which that's where I see things evolving. But I'll tell you what, back then, I basically said, "That's fine. Take it out of my commission, fulfill the deal, and I'm out." And I didn't say that. That was in my mind. Oh, so I did take it out of my commission. I fulfilled the deal, and then comes along one of my good buddies, Al Stasek.
Yeah.
So Al, who a lot of people on here know, Al and I worked at the same Remax together. I hated Al. Hated him. Al was one of the top producers, but Al would come in the office and screw with everybody. Because he's a jokester, right? So he'd come walking in, he'd sit on my desk, he'd bust my chops a little bit. I'm just like, and I was struggling, so I'm already pissed off at him because he had it figured out and I didn't, but it looked like I did. Yeah. And so what I remember about Al is that we had this it was a scoreboard where every new listing and every new sale, the admin went and put a round sticky note on the scoreboard. And so my name was right above this person who did major REO, major bank-owned properties, because that was huge at the time. Yeah. So this guy was listing 25 to 50 houses a month. He had all these sticky notes, and there's Joel. Every now and then I'd have one sticky note on there. So he moves my name up to the top producer one, and then moves that guy's name down. So everybody walking in the office like, "Who's Joel? I got to meet Joel." And everybody's coming to my office going, "Dude, you're killing it." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Here, Al freaking moves my name around. But by default, too, Al and I happen to have lunch together. And he goes, "What are you doing, dude?" He goes, "You don't seem happy." And I'm like, "I'm not. I'm moving brokerages, right? Because it's the brokerage's fault that I'm not selling anything." So Al and I have lunch, and he goes, "Listen, give me 15 minutes and just come to the team and check out what I do." And I go, "Al, I got 200 signs, man. Everybody knows my name because they drive by every main intersection and my name's everywhere. I don't want to do this." He goes, "Just give me 15 minutes. So what I learned at Al's 15 minutes is truthfully 15 minutes, but with a 6-pack of beer waiting there for you when it comes time to meet you. So I come over, Al and I have a couple beers, and he opens up his leads and his CRM, and he shows the follow-up systems. And what I got on my desk right here is all the systems, the listing presentation and stuff that I learned 10 years ago and I use and my team uses to this day. So I
From
swallowed my pride.
NAEA, yep, from
Yep,
National Association of
NAEA.
Expert Advisors, yep.
Truthfully, and I'll fight anybody on this. I get that every coaching association has a superpower. This changed mine and more people that I know's career, having these systems and processes and the people that we're affiliated with. It's amazing. The best of the best, and I will go to war about that. So I swallowed my pride and I joined Al's team, and I didn't sell a house for 6 months. Al sat me down. He goes, "What the hell are you doing, dude? What are you doing?" I go, "Dude, your CRM and your follow-up systems, what the hell, Al? It does itself. Look, it's dripping on them, and they're not contacting me back." He goes, "You got to put forth the effort." And I'm like, "Oh, forgot about that portion." So, anyways, if you fast forward, I don't want to keep boring you because I really don't have the greatest of stories about that. It was just a long journey. 14 years in right now. I never thought I'd be where I'm at, but joined Al, became one of his top listing agents. I was not the top. I wish I was, but I became one of his top listing agents. And then I moved into a leadership position 6 years ago. Yeah. And just kind of climbed that ladder. Al and I became business partners. And then we, Al actually started a brokerage that I was partners in. And then we moved over to EXP 5 years ago.
Oh, so you were there from the beginning. That's cool.
Al and I believe, if I remember correctly, we were the 12th and 13th agent in the state of Ohio for EXP.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So, and part of your leadership now is coaching and training agents. And, I know you specialize in lead conversion. So let's get into that a little bit because, a lot of the people watching would be able to take advantage of some of your tips and tricks, right?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, no, and I appreciate that. Here's the deal. When I told you that, I feel that we're affiliated with the best of the best with NAEA, with Jake Kinder, Michael Reese, John Kitchens, all Al Stasek. I can keep going and going and going. I am lucky enough to, have coached with them. They've coached me. They still coach me, and I coach for them. And we're able to, one of my biggest things, and I think one of my favorite keywords is relevant. I feel that there's a lot of brokerages. I'm not here to ruffle feathers, but I probably will. I think there's a lot of brokerages. There's a lot of coaching associations. There's a lot of coaches out there that coach to old dinosaur techniques. And I get it. There are things that work. If you ever want to get busy and you want to make money, pick up the phone and make 100 dials. We've all heard that. However, I will put my techniques, preferred method of communication. I would put my text messages, my Facebook messages, and my calls against your 100 calls all day long, and I will win all day long. So, my biggest thing is when the statistics came out regarding real estate sales. And the analogy that I use is the emoji with the head exploding. When I'm about to tell you these stats is in all not price ranges, all age groups. So from 35 to 45, 45 to 55, and 55 and older, 63% of people on average would rather be communicated with in real estate sales when they're looking to buy or sell a home via text. Via text.
Yeah.
So you got people that are preaching the calls. Yes, calls you have to do. But instead of saying just calls or even just text, start using the word touches. So if they were to sit down and say, okay, I need to find out what the preferred method of communication, if I'm trying to reach you, you come in via a lead. And let's rewind. What's a lead? A lead is somebody who you got their information. It usually involves a cell phone number, hopefully, and an email address. And it's our job to have a communication with that lead, period. Right. But too many people don't put forth that effort, and all they want to do is maybe call it one time, as opposed to call it, text it, email it, send them a Facebook message. And what really works is the differentiation factor. How can you make yourself different from all the rest of the clowns that are in our industry? Is send them a freaking video.
There you go. That's
like that was the game changer. And that's what like my coaches taught me is so line up 100 agents, give them all the exact same lead and see who can differentiate themselves. And what wins every single time is this little red record button on your phone that everybody's scared to death of. And you just say, hey, this is Joel over at the home search site. I saw you were looking at homes in Strongsville. Just want you to put a face to the name that I'm not a computer system or a robot. Send you a message. I'm a local real estate expert, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about your home search. And I actually probably have some information about these homes you won't find online. This is my cell phone number. Either give me a text back or shoot me a call. I promise I'll keep it really short.
Well, that's killer.
You can't get more relevant than that.
No, that's today's world. You got to, we're learning that in my group from Mr. Nick Krem, because he's the guru. But yeah, I mean, I agree. You hit the nail on the head. You have to find their preferred method of contact, and
everybody's just different.
Yeah, everybody might be different. Some people might email more. They might not text at all. But I'm 61, so I didn't grow up with the text.
Right.
But I text and email and everything too. But like you said, you got to figure out the preferred method of contact for that particular client.
Yeah, you got to dig deep. The challenge is like, this kind of dawned on me, even though it was like beaten into my skull. It dawned on me because I kept having our agents come in my office and they would complain about leads, right? And that's the next thing that I want to kind of get into is like, they would, these leads are garbage. And I apologize for my language, so I hope I don't offend anybody, but these are shit leads. And I'm like, there is no such thing as a shit lead. There is shitty effort behind that lead.
Right.
That lead that comes through, that is worth a lot of money. If you were to really break it down at what your cost per lead is, that lead is worth money. And so therefore, if you can literally look in the mirror and say, okay, I got this chunk of data, this lead that came through. Did I give it all of my effort in all different avenues of communication? Did I do it again and again and again and again until that lead is dead?
Right.
And Jordan Belfort had it right in the movie Wolf of Wall Street. They're either going to buy or they're going to die. In between there, I'm going to try to contact them as much as possible.
Yep. You can't give up. There is no shitty leads, like you said. They're all leads. You gotta have a follow-up system.
Well, yeah, you have to have that. You have to have effort. You have to be proactive about your business. And it also dawned on me when one of our top agents, Dan Walters, who he's with NAEA as well. He's in our area. He's on the team. The guy's been licensed since '83, so he's seen it all. And he would tell me, he would say, the problem with real estate agents, a majority of real estate agents, is they have the mindset of, like they did nothing, but they're not happy about got nothing out of that. And so it's not a did nothing, got nothing. It's you have to get used to the dull, the boring, the crazy algorithm of uncomfortableness. And what my coach John Kitchens always tells me is that if you do those hard things, you will live an easy life. But too many people do the easy things in real estate, and you live that hard life. And then they act like they can't figure it out, but they know they're just not willing to take it that next step. They're not willing to have that mindset. And the biggest thing, talk about mindset, is that think of what a consumer thinks of you, right? Who's a traditional real estate agent? And I love that word. Compare yourself to a traditional real estate agent that's out there. These are agents that are untrained, borderline, probably unethical, but this is what the buyers and the sellers feel about them. I'm not saying that, but they're untrained, right. They're unethical, they're big babies, and they make a lot of money doing nothing is what they think of a real estate agent. That
is absolutely right. Yep.
What could we do to change their mind? And that's what's different about an expert versus a traditional agent. And it starts with the language. It starts with your scripting and how you talk and how you're relevant and real with them.
Right. And you gotta provide better service.
Oh, 100%. You got to, yeah. I mean, it's totally making yourself stand out. And it starts with, statistical data, knowing your market. It starts with, you're constantly training and honing your skills and making yourself better than them, because the traditional agent What do? They put a sign in the yard, they twiddle their thumbs, and the house will eventually sell. An
Right.
expert is actually going to still prepare the house in any type of a market condition. They're going to look at all the different variables, and that's what the listing presentation talks. The 115 variables that go into the home selling process that influence the price in any market condition. So, you know what? Separate yourselves, but remember why the consumers hate you already, and then it's up to us to fight for it. And I have no problem fighting for it and talking to people like we're real humans to just know what we're doing. This is our superpower.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you pulling out the listing presentation from NAE there, because, I've been able to build a small group so far through revenue share, which is, I have 21 in my group.
Nice.
And they all need to get on that, because I'm going to tell them as soon as we're done, you guys need to sign up for the Honey Badger NAEA benefits that you get from being a Honey Badger. It's there for you. It's a perk. You don't even have to pay for it. You just have to sign up and do the work.
I'll tell you, like I said, I use these words and I don't use them often or take it lightly, but it is career changing when I implemented this. I gave Al pushback when he introduced me to this, and he actually said to me this: you cannot go on a listing appointment for my team unless you go get your training at one of these boot camps.
Yep.
And I kicked and screamed. And I'm like, fine. And I'm like, they're going to sell me a bunch of stuff here. This is BS. I'm not into this. And then all of a sudden, halfway through the boot camp, that light bulb went ding. And I'm like, holy hell, this is what he was talking about. And then it dawned on me. And they didn't sell me nothing. They were just trying to help me build my business,
Exactly.
which was even more crazy to me.
Exactly.
And
yeah,
so here's the biggest thing. It's a system. It's a process. And people appreciate that. But what it does is it helps you become that expert. Like when I can sit down with somebody and I have that process dialed in and I have that conversation with them and they see that I flow properly and I touch on the major points because I was listening to them and what's important to them. But what it does, the key is this. Jay Kinder taught me this. You have to articulate your value.
Yeah.
They're going to be interviewing 3 or 5 other real estate agents. How are you going to differentiate yourself? It's how you articulate your value. And it's not that some other agents don't do some of the stuff that we're letting them know. It's that we're actually letting them know this is what's going to happen. This is the start from when we called you. This is why we asked some of the hard questions. This is how we're going to really look at your neighborhood profile and find out how your neighborhood selling trends are. We're going to do, the 3,000 foot, the 5,000 foot bird's eye view, and then we're going to do the 30,000 foot city view.
Right.
Supply and demand, all the way through the whole process. And it's genius. It is absolutely genius. It takes all of the stress off of you and everything.
Well, you have to understand it was designed by, people that sold hundreds of homes a year. So why shouldn't we copy what they're doing?
Yeah.
These guys were killers in the marketplace. Mike Reese and Jay Kinder and now Stasek too. I mean, but obviously that's a story in itself. And, it definitely works. And it's systems and processes. That's what you get. That's what you learn from these guys.
Well, and it's weird because we're taught one way that there's nothing normal in real estate, and you have to think outside the box. And yes, that's just called pivoting. And so there still could be a system and a process, right? It's that straight line that yes, maybe you're up here a little bit dealing with a situation or a script or whatever, or the listing presentation, excuse me, but you're going to be brought right back down to the system and the process and walking you right through it. It's awesome. I mean, I can't tell you enough and how grateful I am for those guys having this and providing what they provide for us.
Right. So I'm going to wrap it up with that then. Again, for those of you that are watching, Honey Badger Nation, if you want to learn more about the collaboration that we have at EXP and Honey Badger Nation, this is kind of what we're doing. I mean, we just had a nice conversation with Joel. I did. I appreciated it. And like I said, that's just through our networking of Honey Badger Nation. So you can contact me at edenglish.me. If you want to find out more from Joel, his ticker's coming across now. coachwithjoel.com. You can jump in his calendar. He's killing it in Ohio. We're having fun here in South Jersey. And the beautiful thing about Honey Badger Nation and EXP Realty is it's nationwide and worldwide. And we collaborate. I've never seen anything like it, Joel. 32 years in the business, never seen anything like Honey Badger Nation. It's
no,
like,
you're totally right about that. The level of the people that I could just shoot a message to and say, hey, I need your help with this, and they come through and they pull through and they jump on these live, interviews or trainings or whatever you want to call them, and they share what is working for them. That's how you know you're aligned with the right people, because too many people out there. I mean, I get it every time that I get up and I speak in front of a crowd, whether it's locally or even nationally. There's that one person that raises their hand. They said, why are you doing this? Why are you teaching other brokerages, what works for you guys? And I let them know, here's the deal. I go, I'll call you the 3%ers, which that might even be high. I said, there's 3% of you, 100% of you love what I'm saying. 3% of you will actually implement it into your business. And to be honest, there's plenty of business to go around. And I'd rather see the industry doing it a better way, which is exactly what One Big Fire does.
right. And it's about helping other people. And that's what we like to do.
Adding value.
So, adding value, helping others succeed.
Sure.
I appreciate you, Joel. Thanks for jumping on. And, I'm sure we'll run into each other again sometime.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, man. Anytime you want me back, I'm in.
All right. Thanks for all the good information, and I hope you guys out there got a lot out of it. All right. You have a great day. Signing off.
See you guys.